and welcome back to the Dollhouse. I'm Maeve, your Wednesday doll, actually coming to you on a Saturday, and the reason why that is because I just had a really bad day last Wednesday when I didn't post. I'm so sorry about that. It's just one of those things where I had a little bit of a breakdown. I know I come to you as a very strong, put together person, but I have my problems just like everybody else does, and it's something I'm working on. It's something that kind of just happens sometimes, and I deal with it, but I need time away to do that. So I'm sorry that that happened. I'm sorry that I had to take time away. You know, in most cases, if I feel like I am not going to be available, I would, you know, film ahead of time. I just didn't know that it was going to creep up on me like that, and that I was going to have the issue that I did. So I'm sorry that I can't elaborate more. It's something that's kind of private that I deal with, you know, on my own. So I hope you guys are okay with that, and let's get on to the topic this week. So we're talking about trans women in the media over the past 10 years and how they've basically been represented. Now, the only narrative that I was aware of, you know, some time ago when I was younger about trans women is that, you know, a lot of them were sex workers, just like Edie said. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that was kind of present in the media, besides the very typical Jerry Springer episodes where they had trans women and they were very messy, or the episodes of Maury that you would watch where it was, you know, is this a man or a woman? And that was very much like a little game they played on Maury. And a lot of trans women find that to be very demeaning now. But that was, you know, pretty much the only things that I saw in the media of trans women. So I didn't have a very positive opinion of trans women for probably most of my life, and I think that's very sad. But what I wanted to talk about more, because Edie really did cover a lot of the sex work aspect, is how people are viewing trans women today because of the archetypes that we have in the media, like Carmen Carrera. Now, the problem that I find with the way people are presenting Carmen Carrera, and this has nothing to do with her herself, she's amazing, she's very talented, this is really nothing to do with her beyond how people are presenting her to us, and that is very much, at least in my opinion, like, oh look, it's a trans woman, she's beautiful, she's nothing like those other trans women that you've seen who look like men, or who aren't passable, or who aren't stunning. You know, because I think that there are a lot of really amazing trans women who've done amazing things and have not gotten the same press that Carmen Carrera might have gotten. These people will not be covered because of the way they look a lot of times, or they won't be taken seriously because of the way they look. And I think in our society, it's very important to be beautiful and to look the way that our society wants you to look. And I think Carmen Carrera is very much what our society wants the face of being trans to be. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that because she's beautiful and, like I said, very talented. But just because you aren't beautiful or passable doesn't mean you shouldn't necessarily be represented in the same capacity. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Laverne Cox, who is very recently being acknowledged for all of her amazing talents. And she has even said, and you know, in the past in her career, that she was only really ever considered for roles as, you know, prostitutes or sex workers on TV. And, you know, that's very unfortunate, but that was her truth. That's what she said herself. So it's like, the only reason why Laverne Cox is in our lives is because somebody chose to raise her voice and give her a platform on a show like Orange is the New Black, where, you know, she does great work. But that's kind of by a stroke of luck. I mean, we could have just had Carmen this year, or just had Jenna, you know, the years before. We don't really get very many trans women. And there's something that Laverne said, you know, that I thought was very striking to me was, a lot of people are telling her, you know, trans women have made it. Or, you know, how is it to see trans women, you know, in the media, or to see trans women, you know, getting, you know, awards and getting, you know, speaking in all these places. And she said basically that trans women haven't made it until there are more than just a couple of them, or more than just her. And I think that's really interesting to say, because really the media kind of likes to give us, you know, one trans woman every 6 months, or, you know, a year. You know, there's this story kind of, and we've been saturated with a lot of it lately, but before that there really wasn't a whole lot. And I think what she said is very true. we haven't really made it until, you know, there's a lot of us, you know, doing great things in the public eye. And you know, she is a great example of what, you know, we could all strive to be, and a great archetype, like I said before, for maybe something that more trans women should consider if they want to be taken seriously, and if we want to present ourselves as a whole community. You know, it's not always about being beautiful and about being passable and about being, you know, cis and, you know, living that type of lifestyle. Sometimes it's about fighting for your rights and being present and being the face. And I know that's really hard for a lot of people, because being the face of trans people comes with a huge responsibility. And when you're in the limelight, or people are constantly watching you, they're going to criticize everything you do. They're going to criticize everything you wear, and they're going to be that much harder on you because you are a minority in our community in the United States or around the world. And a lot of people can't handle that pressure, but it's just so important that we continue to break barriers and try our best to penetrate the world with our voices, because just having a voice changes someone's life completely. I can't imagine how different my life would have been if there would have been people like Laverne Cox or Carmen Carrera on TV when I was younger. I might have been able to have started my journey so much sooner. My life would have been so much better. I could have experienced things that I just can't now because I'm older than, you know, a lot of trans girls start these days. And, you know, I really wish I would have had that choice. So it just matters so much that we have these people, and that, you know, it continues to change, and hopefully it'll continue to get better for us. And I'm very happy that we do have this medium now, and that, you know, people like Carmen Carrera and Laverne Cox are doing such great work. And I would like to personally thank them, and anybody else who feels like they're out there really fighting the fight and, you know, struggling. And I feel like the Dollhouse in itself is kind of even a medium where we're trying to show you that we're all very different people. You know, we're all trans, but we all have our own narratives, we all have our own lives, and it's important to look at trans people as, you know, as people, and not just as people who are trans. Being trans is usually the least important or the least interesting thing about most of us. I think all of us on this channel are very interesting beyond being trans, and if we didn't have anything to say about being trans, we could still run this channel and I'm sure be very entertaining. So just try to remember that if you're somebody who's watching and you're not trans yourself, or you don't know much about trans people, that we're all very different and we all have a voice, and we want you to hear it. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry this came in so late. I tried really hard to get it up as soon as I possibly could, but like I said, things just went awry this week. I'll try my best to have things on track next week, and I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.